families are large while others are, not so large. And when it comes to the division of that palliatives that the government has already put in place, some families would maybe take some time to, consume that food, while others might take longer. So with this decision, of course, there are things that could be managed, or it's up to you anyways. So today we'll be opening the phone line for, the topic of your thoughts of practicing family planning. Now, family planning is the consideration of the number of children a person wishes to have, including the choice or, to have no children at all, and the age they wish to have them. I mean, we're talking about distancing. If you want to have 3 years, say between each child to 5 years. And some of the things that may play a role on family planning decisions include the marital situations, career and work considerations, financial situations, and more. And let's not forget about health also, because we all know that some women also get affected when there is a bit of gap, not so much gap, where a woman might be nursing a child and then she gets pregnant, say 7 months after, and it would affect a child or the mother. We've seen situation of, death happening for the mother because she hasn't really healed from the previous pregnancy. So it is also estimated that about 1.8 million child deaths could be averted in developing countries if there is, a 3-year interval between all pregnancies. But in developing countries, the household structures is influenced by religious, the cultural and societal norms. So right now, the question, of course, is always on the punchline of would you consider this? But our reporter, Bello Musa from Kaduna, has put this report together for the purpose, of letting people understand how people or families tend to see the family planning situation. So take a look.
Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa and 7th in the world. Nigeria's population is expected to overtake United States as third most populous country by 2030. However, population growth without commensurate availability of resources to cater for the people remains a concern. Some are of the view that national planning and equitable distribution of resources must be reflective of population. Some clearly said religious and socio-cultural beliefs are not totally against family planning practice.
When you start with Islamic perspective of family planning is not something new. It's sacrosanct in Islam. It is very vital for every Muslim to plan. And that's why the Prophet of Islam has warned every Muslim about your family. He says one of the strong warning from the Quran is Ku anfusikum wa ahlikum nara. Fear for your own life and the life of your children. Protect your soul and the soul of your children from the danger of calamity, a severe punishment that comes from God if you fail to live by the standard of God. That tells us that you have to plan. If you're a good Muslim, no matter how you pray, if your children, you didn't plan for your children about their morality, their core values, then you have failed as a person.
God is saying you must be able to take care of that children. Even though the Bible first of all says multiply and fill the earth. But in that multiplication, you have to be very wise. You don't give back to children anyhow. Because you must be able to feed them. You must be able to train them to go to school. God can give you a wife and children. But you can also know your capability. A man that's a multimillionaire may not think of the school, may not think of food. But for you, who cannot get 1 square meal, and you are giving back anyhow, who takes care of that child? And some other theologians say there's nothing wrong to go for medical advice in the hospital to space your child, because we are saying that if you cannot take care of your child, you are like an infidel.
Though religion permits family planning to a certain extent, but the method is still a subject of discussion.
Above all, ask God for direction, which of the one you will do. But family planning is acceptable for me as a Christian. is acceptable. It depends on which one. If you cannot do the medical, you it's wrong. Do the natural one, which is just avoid the ovulation period, but do the child spacing. Because 1, 2, the health of the mother is very important.
I don't talk of in terms of taking drugs, or women taking drugs, or sterilizing, or stereotyping yourselves, or cutting up your testicles because you don't want to have children. No, because how do you plan the children you have? How do you plan for your home? How do you plan how you live with your neighbors? So when you die, what do you want us to say about you after you are gone? And how do you plan for the hereafter? Preparation at death, where you expect that you are hopeful that with what good thing you've done, in your own self, you have a confidence that the hereafter will be a better place for us.
Awol Suleiman has 4 wives and 21 living children, and he is not contemplating family planning. He says he is still counting and sustains his family within his income.
Yesterday, one of my wife undergoes surgery, spending more than 100,000 plus. But yet, for those who even came to greet me today, those that have maybe 1 wife or 2 kids are still soliciting to get what to eat from me. So what I believe is that, 1, you plan. You consider your income. When you consider your income, you know, the attitude of Nigerians, when you have 100,000, ask him what is he going to use this money for. The next thing is that he had no plan to buy shoe or any clothes. Just on the way, he saw the shoe seller and immediately just buy a shoe without any plan. So my money is planned for. I had a plan that, okay, this money will be used for my school fee, my kids' school fee. So I had to prepare the school fee even before the time comes.
The clerics admonish different religious adherents to have a proper moral and spiritual planning for the children, for them to live in meaningful life in the society. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Thank you so much, Bello Musa, for that report. Sumaya, you can see what I am actually speechless.
Of course, a lot of. I would have, wanted to see someone from, someone with more lesser family, minimal. Let's see how that person's take is on that. But it's okay, and I'm hoping that on this, because the reports got meant to talk about this, since we have the clerics, religious leaders who spoke about these things in details. But I would want to hear from the ladies. So please, the ladies, when we open the phone line, we would want you to call, and if you can't talk, then please you can send in a message, because I would want to hear the women's perspective on that one.
Definitely.
Because when we're talking about family planning, I'm glad that the clerics, the religious leaders actually explained to an extent what it all means.
Both religion and
where the Islamic clerics said you have to know that when the Prophet ﷺ said you're supposed to train your child, so you cannot. We've seen situations of parents giving birth to children and then the children walk to sponsor. Maybe the mother sponsors the kids to primary school, and then from secondary school the children walk. I have seen someone who sponsored himself from secondary school through university. So that kind of situation, if that person didn't have the mindset of, okay, I have the fear of Allah in me, let me do the right thing, that person would have gone wayward. So it has gone against the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ, because you've put your child in a vulnerable position, in the vulnerable situations, and because that person has large number of siblings that only one person cannot take care of. And also we're talking about the Christian cleric who spoke about how you're supposed to know the amount of children you'd have based on your financial income. And we have Mala Awal, who mentioned that, okay, he has 4 wives and about 20 something numbers,
children,
21
and
kids,
counting.
But then he's working with what he has.
Yes.
So it's all about you need to take care of those kids.
He is able to train his kids, and he is not complaining, because he just made mention of one of his wives undergoing surgery and the amount he had to spend. If he can say that with ease, it means he knows what he's doing. He has a okay. We have a caller. Hello, good morning. Okay, we lost that call.
Please go ahead and call us. Tell us your take on the family planning. Would you consider it if it comes to a situation of, making that kind of decision? Because like we said, the economy is not easy on anyone.
At all.
So with the larger number to feed, we're talking about school fees, the roof over their head, and health situations, which is something that just happens without preparation. Sometimes you don't have budget for it, and it happens. And if the more mouths to feed, the more people that could fall vulnerable to sickness and other things. So do you consider, would you consider family planning? Okay, we have a caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, thank you. Your name and location, please.
My name is Emmanuel. I'm calling from Bauchi State.
Okay, Emmanuel, go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, actually, family planning is something very, very important, especially for those of us in the far north. And I must confess that if I get married today, I'm not yet married, but if I get married today, I'm going to make sure after giving birth to 2 children, my wife will, go for family planning. Because to be sincere with you, it is very, very important. Very, very important. The Boko Haram we have today, the herdsmen we have today, are children that were not properly taken care of, children that were not properly brought up. And that's why they are rascals today. That's why we have IPOP and the rest all around. But when you when you give birth to the ones you can take care of very well, you will be able to, have a better society.
All right. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for that contribution there from Bauchi State. And now, yes, it all comes down to, giving birth to people that you can, amount of children that you can have your eyes on. Yes, that's why sometimes you see career parents actually picking on the numbers of kids they have, because you're already working, your husband is working, you don't have
enough time
to keep an eye on them. So you would prefer, okay, 1 or 2 that you can turn and be like, okay, where's your brother? What's happening?
And this actually reminded me yesterday. I was while I was looking at the whole thing, someone told me I wouldn't want to have a child that would be the reason for high blood pressure for me. Like, I wouldn't want to have a child that I'll have to be going to the police station every day because of that. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. My name is
Hello, your name and location, please.
My name is Somali. I call from Niger State, Ida local government.
Sorry, can you speak a little bit louder?
Hello. My name is Somali.
Okay. Usman, you can go ahead. We can hear you.
Yes, I call. Hello?
We can hear you.
Yes, it's my contribution for planning for the... I know you married. Hello?
Go ahead, Usman. We can hear you. Just don't talk to your TV. Talk to us on the phone.
Okay. I just to advise before resumption of the school, you just prepare before the school, everything. Hello?
All right, we want, Usman, if you want to hear from us, if you want to talk to us, rather, please stay away from your TV. Just talk to us through your phone. And when we say that we're hearing you, it means we are hearing you. Okay, so of course, don't forget to send in your messages through WhatsApp, to tell us your thoughts on this particular matter. All right, so I don't really even know what Usman was trying to say, about the opinion, because if I want to hear from someone that would say, okay, I do not want to, I don't believe in it, and these are my reasons. Exactly.
It could be they have maybe some concerns about the health aspect of it. It could be, like you said, due to some financial reasons, because I know there are couples that have gotten married and they have already agreed, okay, 2-3 years after our wedding before we could start having kids. Hello, good morning. Your name and location, please.
Hello, my name is Ali Muhammad.
Okay.
I'm calling you from Bauchi State.
Okay, Ali Muhammad, please stay away from your TV. We can actually hear the feedback from your TV right now.
Yes, just your program is very nice.
Thank you.
And then that's why I call you. I express my vote of thanks for you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ali.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you. So we were saying, you know, the couples that will make a decision to say, oh, after 3 years, 4 years, 5 years before we start having kids, that's because they want to plan. When kids start coming in, they will be able to, you know, cater for them, provide for them for as long as they can, and then they continue to struggle and, you know, keep providing. So I think it's when you plan, it's not just about the family planning that you go to the hospital, do the implant, especially for the women, because it's the women that are actually going through the planning, not the men. But they need the men to support them to do that. So you have to sit down, make a decision. And like I was saying earlier, a friend said he wouldn't want to be having kids that will be going, he has to be going to the police station every time. So he wouldn't mind if he doesn't have kids, even though he does. But he has already agreed on the number of kids he wants to have, and that's it. So there are 4, and that's it for him.
Okay, wow. So we have another caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, your name and location, please.
Mijinyawa Ali calling from Damaturu, Yobe State.
Okay, engineer, thank you for joining us. Go ahead with your thoughts on today's conversation.
Okay, though I know issue relating to family planning, though it's not that because of the economic hardship, that is one. And what I also know is that for family planning to take place, both parties have to come together and agree on a specific maybe duration for the planning. One, it helps in setting the family, and also it helps the family to look inward to see, okay, how can we cater for those children. But to some that may say no to issue of family planning, though they both have their own reason why they said so. And I believe there's a reason for high level of sensitization to those people, so that they will look into and see the reason why this issue of family planning is very important. And also it helps in issue of setting of pace and also health other issues. So all these are reasons to look into in order to have effective family. That is one. And also the last call has made mention of maybe if there is no family planning, catering for children, that is the reason why we are having banditry and terror. Though to me, I may see it as a contrary issue, issue related to upbringing based on that is the family background, that is one, and also the maybe community, because everybody has a role to play in upbringing of children. So, but family planning will help in going a long way in setting pace in the family, maybe economic issue, and also the way to cater for them. One, you have a lot of children and you cannot pay their school fees is another challenge, and also it will affect the economy and also the community. So this is my take. Remain Mijinyawa Ali from Damaturu, Yobe State. Thank you, I remain blessed.
Thank you so much for that amazing contribution there. Yes, where he mentioned that, you know, if it's not all about the money, and he said that also in terms of taking care of the children, it's a whole-time job for everybody, not just you, the community. Yes. As well. But you know the community or the situation we're in right now, where people don't want to be involved in other people's children training. Yes, because the people can come and be like, why did you touch my kid and all that. All right, we have another caller. Good morning.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Your name and location, please.
My name is Rilwan Ibrahim, London, calling you from Adamawa State. Okay,
Ridwan, thank you for joining us. Your thoughts, please.
Yes, I am really supporting this system, that is child spacing or family planning, because it is really assisting the parents, especially nowadays, because having a lot of children is not an achievement, but taking care of them is an achievement. But this problem is mostly happening in our northern Nigeria. I am not calling northern Nigeria to insult our people or something of that nature. No, I am just telling the truth. Because most of our people are having a lot of children. They are prouding with the total of children they have, well, they are not taking care of them. So I am calling over them, please. As God... Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
As God has given everyone a level of his. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Hello?
We can hear you. We can hear you. We are with you. We can hear you.
Okay, I am giving them an advice. Please, they should take care of what they have, because most people are praying to have such a lot of children, and they have an opportunity to take care of them, but they are not having it. So if you are a poor person, we all know that God is our helper. God is the only one who has an opportunity to give us what we are going to take our children, to take care of them, to feed them, to educate them, and etc. But having a lot of children and prouding with that is not an achievement. I am calling our people, please. We should do child spacing so that the mother should have a good health, and the children should get a good and better life. So this is my views today. Thank you very good. Rilwan Ibrahim, London from Adamawa State. Thank you very good.
Thank you so much, Ridwan from Adamawa, for that, very detailed explanation on that one. Thank you so much for calling. Ridwan made a lot of points, Fatima, where he said that it's all about, having the children that you can take care of and the numbers and all that. But let's not forget, even at the end of the day, even the people that feel they have the money and you give birth to a lot of people, we're forgetting the inevitable, which is death. Mm-hmm. There is death. Mm-hmm. So what if you are, as the head of the family, are the capable one, and then, God forbid, death just takes you? How would your wives, take care of those kids? There is also that consideration. So you need to work double in order to have trust fund for those kids. All right, we have another caller. Good morning. Okay, we lost that caller. Please go ahead, call us and send us messages on WhatsApp so that we can hear your thoughts.
You just made mention of something that it actually caught my attention. It's actually very good for people to start planning. Planning is not about, like I said, going to the hospital, maybe to do the implants and what have you. You can start opening accounts for the children yet unborn that you want to have, and you can start putting something just to make sure that you are able to provide for them. Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Your name and location, please. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Your name and location, please.
Thank you. My name is Sadiq Mohammed from Niger State.
Your thoughts about the topic of discussion?
Yes. As a Muslim, I'm very, very much aware that our religion has its own laid out method or methodology as it relates to family planning. But my sister, our greatest problem, what do you say about an individual who has only 2 kids or only 1, but decided to push this 7-year-old child on the street to beg, or to go to or leave Maiduguri to United States for Islamic education at the age of 7 or 8? When you look through all our religious books, there is nowhere you are asked to do such a thing. So, believe me, our major problem, sometimes the way we are looking at it might not be the problem. The only way to solve this problem is that our northern governors must come together and find lasting solution to this problem, because this is one of the greatest problems we have. You wake up in the morning and you find in front of your house about 6, 7 children, ages between 7, 6, 8, or in tattered, shattered the attires.
So are you saying? Are you saying the government should intervene with families that are trying to make decisions to have number of kids? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. What I'm saying is that if you have your children, if you have a child, let the law take its course. You must be held responsible for the upbringing of your children. If you cannot do that, since your religion provides and has dictated to you how to live your life, because there is family planning in Islam. So what I'm saying is that it's just because we are not holding people responsible. That is why you have people misbehaving. You born children, sleep with a woman and she give you a child, you push the child out and you're planning to have another one. Because when you throw them on the street, some people are there to take care. And then I can assure you that some of the problems we're having of insecurity now, you have some of these children who have been ignored by parents. And because of this suffering they experience in life, they don't have what you call mercy in their heart. So once they are given some money and they are dictated to go and do some damages, they will go and do it. So I am strongly advising our northern governors to come together. Let us solve this problem of street begging and these almajiris we find around.
Okay, thank you very much.
There is no village or hamlet in Nigeria today where you don't have an Islamic school.
Thank you very much for that, your thoughts. Thank you. Sumaya, I think our caller is actually talking about the almajiris and the number of children roaming around, parents, not really being able to take care of their kids. So it's still coming down to you have to plan to know the number of children you want to have so you don't end up sending some of them to the street to beg and then get caught in kidnapping businesses and, joining the bandits and terrorists and what have you. I think that's what he's trying to say, that maybe the government should be able to.
Yes, I got a point like that from him. When you look at the Western world, there is parents, they have to take accountability for their child. So there is the social workers where they would come and check and make sure you're taking care of your child. If you're not, then the government would take that child away from you in order to do the needful.
Yeah, so there are roles that the government can actually play to say, okay, a family can have so amount of number of children.
We've seen that happen in China.
Exactly. So if you exceed that, you can actually pay a fine or be imprisoned.
Okay, we have another caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Your name and location, please.
My name is Abdulaziz. I'm calling from Zurmi Local Government of State.
Okay, Abdulaziz, go ahead.
Okay, yes, I had your discussion. I got my marriage in years, but actually up to now, I have no any plan for family planning.
Okay.
Why? Because majority of people here, they think that when you talk about family planning, you mean that people should decide the number of children that his wife would deliver. So because of this, we think doing this is prohibited. That is why up to now, and many of us, we don't have any plan for family planning. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Abdulaziz, for that call. Now we have lots of messages coming on WhatsApp. We'll take a look at the first one here. It says, family planning is now penetrating into the homes of families without having invited it. Okay, no, welcome it. Irrespective of the barriers of literacy, culture, religion, the economic reality is enough to make us know that we have no choice. Well, that's true. We just have no choice but to not only think about, the family's planning, but to accept it. Otherwise, we may run away from the family we were so in love to build. That's according to Dahiru Usman from Yola. Thank you so much, Dahiru, for that message. And it's true, we've seen situations where fathers, you know, abandon the mothers and with the kids just to run away because the responsibility has become overwhelming for that person. Or a case of a woman running away, leaving the parents because the psychological, you know, impact or effect that the number of kids she's having is really affecting her. Yes, so she run away.
As a mother, you know, it shouldn't be easy for you to see your kids going through hunger and, you know, maybe health related issues, like your child is always sick. You have more than 2-3 children, and let's assume they fall sick at the same time. How will you be able to cope knowing all this, your kids are actually in pain of one thing or the other? So it's definitely going to affect her mental health.
A really sad one there.
And aside from that, I remember a story where a woman was reported her husband died. He ran away because every time she gives birth, she's giving birth to 2 or 3 sets of twins. Triplets, twins, so he ran away.
Okay, yes, I think I remember that story.
Right? Like a couple of years ago, it was everywhere.
And at that time, maybe the thought of family planning didn't come to them, because when you give that to the first set of twins, they're blessings. Oh my God, wow, yeah. And then the second set comes. I mean, at that point, you're supposed to just drop and say, okay, we need to do this planning.
But because it was sad because he left.
Yes,
you know?
and we left her with that burden. And this is the situation where we don't even want to point blames at anyone. And that is why it's better, you know, for you to know your situations, your financial capability, your strength, your physical and mental capability, you know, in order to decide the number of the kids. If you want more, go ahead.
Aside from people calling in to tell us what they think about it, but no one has actually called to tell us if they have thought or even planned to go for family planning, you know. But I think it's just 1 or 2 persons that have actually said that. But nobody has actually told us, are they even planning? Are you thinking about it? Are you putting that in consideration before you get married? Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Your name and your location, please.
Okay, please, we need you to stay away from your TV set, because we can actually hear ourselves from your, you know, through the TV. All right, I think we lost that call. Please, if you're going to call us, stay away from your TV set or tune down the volume of your TV set so you can talk to us, you know, not through the TV, but through your phone. All right, we have another message here. The message is from Jimmy from Bauchi State. He says, yes, have thoughts of family planning. I mean, that was a question, Fati, that was a question you asked, you know. He said he has thought of family planning because financially, economically, and the standard of living is affecting the way one raises his or her child. And giving birth to plenty of children nowadays, it's a lot to carry. So family planning is so good because you can have a better life for the 2 or 4 children that you raise and family. Indeed. All right, thank you so much, Jimmy from Bauchi, for that lovely message there. We really appreciate you actually considering and telling us that you consider that. And, you know, most of the situations, the problems that we're having, you know, in some parts of Nigeria is that sometimes it's the man that wants the family planning, and the woman perhaps, because we all know how when 2 people are coming together to date, there is that I want so amount of kids, I want this. And sometimes there is that problem of the man saying, okay, I think it's enough, or I need us to put a gap. And then it might not be the same as the woman's plan, and she'll be like, no, I want my plan different. Or on some cases, the woman would be the one wanting, you know, pushing for family planning, while the man will be like, no, I do not want it and I don't believe in it. So when situations like that happen also, it's really a sad situation, because family planning cannot happen without one of without one of the people involved. So couples come together, talk about these things, make decisions both on both of you, you know, in order not to be selfish. All right, we have a caller there. Good morning. Your name and location, please.
I'm from Niger State, Peter.
Okay, from Niger.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to recommend the best work you people are doing. And hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, please.
The program is very interested, and I recommend you should continue doing the best work so that the whole world will know the best thing that we're supposed to do in life.
Thank you.
And the problem we are facing in this country now, first of all, I can say is end time. End time means that situation of women and men in this country this time around. If you possibly have a wife, you don't have food to chop, you don't have money in your pocket, but very, very most important thing that is even very cheap in this life between family now is sex. And why I'm saying that, when you are in hardship, sexual time doesn't have to know about what you are doing. Immediately you went and meet your wife in the night. There's no subsidy in relationship or sex, something like that. Whenever you just have a meet with your wife in the night, before you know it, even if you have child on the ground, another child will enter. So, the situation we are going in, what I'm trying to say here is that if one can control himself by having good time with your family, controlling how you get a child and try to train the child, I think that will be the best way of living. Because if you can see, immediately you have sex with your wife, even if there's a child on the ground, before you know, it's not like then, all these days, when we were born, before you see a woman matured, you find at least some years, 17, 18, 20 years. But now, a child of 11, 12 years, matured. And if you don't take time, if you have a boy, sometimes you find that he's getting married. Before you know, you start getting child. When he was young of 12, before 15, 20, I have a documentary I watched yesterday, a Nollywood actress in Kano State. She said she was getting married when she was 15 years. Forced by her five parents to get married. And that period, before now, it's now 29 years. They say she has 8 children with their 2 husbands. So if you can look to that kind of things in this country we are living now, if one cannot control his own organ, personally, what kills us much is that we don't control our what God has created for us. If not, things will never be the same. But a man don't have food to chop, but he won't round, but he's in poverty. But that sexual attitude doesn't know about poverty, whether you are in poverty or you are a rich man or you are this and that. Before you make a woman now, you just find that he has taken because he doesn't know. So let me just not waste time. I just want to tell that we should, not unless by family planning, you hold yourself, family planize yourself so that you know where you are going this time around.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for that wonderful contribution where he said you can find a way to plan. It's all about the planning though, but even if you don't believe in using the family planning method, you can just find a way in order to give birth to kids that you can take care of. Spacing. All right, so we'll take a message from WhatsApp. It says, good morning, Sumaya and her co-host on Daybreak Extra. Thank you so much. Planning of the family is compulsory and necessary, especially in the present day that cost of living is beyond the comprehension of all. I don't subscribe to the illusion of people, especially in northern Nigeria, that God can provide. As such, you have a person having a large family that he cannot cater for, has children that he cannot, be able to put them in either Islamic one or the conventional Western schools. Even Islam accommodates family planning. Yes, Islam does. Thank you so much. That's from Usman Garba Santaraki from Jamaica, Adamawa State. Thank you so much, Usman Garba, for that wonderful message right there. So we'll have a lot of messages, coming in, and I feel like, you know, we would want to take a lot of your messages, but due to time constraints, we really cannot dive into your messages to tell you exactly, to tell the world, you know, what you're saying. But thank you so much for all the messages coming in. And we hope that, of course, with what you've dropped in the message, we can pull out a question or two in order to ask, you know, our guests that will be joining us